We know Joe Maddon as a brilliant tactician. He makes so many of the right moves at the right time. We've seen him take teams to the playoffs and a team to the World Series. He seems to be the perfect guy who can do more with less. The Rays, obviously not a big payroll team. How would he do, Mark, if he were to go to, say, a Cubs or a Dodgers team that spends money and has big-name superstars?
Well, I think he would be all right. But, you know, as Doug and I were talking about, he's a different type manager. He's much more relaxed. He kind of lets the guys go about it their own way, however they want to do it. He's not. There's certain managers who, you do this, you do it at this time, you dress like this. Joe Maddon's kind of the opposite of that. He's big into the sabermetrics. He's constantly shifting guys. I think he's trying new things, whatever it might be. I remember earlier this year when it came with the instant replay, him talking about, well, we're going to have our guys after the third out. We're practicing in spring training to keep playing for that fourth out, technically, in case he's called, you know, whatever the case may be.
Sure.
It's different type stuff, and I think with some veteran guys, you might like it, you might not, but I think he'd be a great manager.
Well, I see Joe Maddon as also being able to do more with more. You talk about more with less.
Yeah.
He could do more with more because he's sort of a tactician that really thinks in the big scale. He's got this personality where he could be under the radar, but he does these kind of unique things where he's okay with the spotlight too. And I can see him doing well in other marketplaces where he can sort of showcase on a bigger scale some of these tactics he uses. Because, you know, think about the shift as one example. Tampa Bay Rays, their defense, how they shifted. And they kind of really pressed the envelope about moving position players around. He really thinks outside of the box. And I see him having more resources could really accentuate that. Yeah. And not only just win, you know, struggle to get some wins, but actually be able to do it consistently over long periods.
Where does this leave the Rays now, who in a very short span, you could argue, lost one of the best 1-2 combos in terms of GMs and managers in baseball? These guys have somehow, despite the long odds with the money they spend, they've remained relevant.
But to me, they've remained relevant, though, with some really good pitching. You know, I mean, you have Evan Longoria in the middle of that lineup. You had David Price. Alex Cobb had a great year in the past years with Garza and Shields. So the pitching has kind of always been there, and that's been a part of that scouting department. Sure. Most of these guys were all homegrown guys, all their talent from the scouts. And so, to me, the pitching is what helps you succeed during the regular season. So that makes, I think, any manager look better than he could be. That's not to say Maddon is not good. That's just saying that pitching definitely helps.
Yeah.
Well, they have also a lot of guys in tow, right? I mean, this is a philosophy that wasn't just like about Joe Maddon, right? It's something that they developed. So there'll be a lot of people coming up through the ranks, as he mentioned. Some of the decision makers now have an opportunity to run this organization.